Take it away, Council President.
Good evening. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Providence City Council. Today is Thursday, March 4th, 2021. With that, Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Council President Matos.
Present.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Present.
Councilwoman Castillo.
Present.
Councilman Correa is absent. Councilman Espinal.
Present.
Councilman Goncalves.
Present.
Councilwoman Harris.
Present.
Migliosi.
Present.
Councilor Kerwin.
Present, but unfortunately I spilled the coffee on my laptop, so I'm coming to you from a webcam-less desktop tonight.
Wow.
Thank you for the effort.
Councilwoman LaFortune.
Present.
Councilor Miller.
Present.
Councilman Narducci is absent. Councilwoman Ryan.
Present.
Councilor Salvatore is absent. Councilman Taylor.
Here.
You have 12 present and 3 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you. The invocation is going to be given by Deputy Majority Leader Mary Kay Harris.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, many of our families, residents, friends, neighbors, and people who are very close to us have felt this pandemic, have felt the burden of this pandemic. Some of us have lost loved ones. But Father, we ask today that we have the faith like Daniel when he was in the lion's den. We also ask you, Father, for hope, just like Moses when he was moving among the wilderness, moving the people. Father, we also pray for everyone here in Providence that are lining up for this vaccination. Father, allow them to be able to get the opportunity to get this vaccination. Each and every person who wants to be able to take this vaccine, please allow that to happen, Lord. We pray for each and every one. And Father, we hope that we are humble before the people as we're struggling in this time of trouble. I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America is going to be led by Councilwoman Joanne Ryan.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I ask the solicitor to please state the legality of this meeting on the record?
Good evening, City Solicitor Jeff Dana. Per executive order of the Governor of the State of Rhode Island, we are permitted to hold this meeting via Zoom.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
Approval of minutes. Item 3, Journal of Proceedings number 3 of the regular meeting of the City Council held February 4th, 2021, and Journal of Proceedings number 4 of the regular meeting of the City Council held February 18th, 2021.
Madam President, motion to move approval of item 3 in a voice vote.
Second.
The motion has been made and second to approve item number 3 on a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Comments by His Honor the Mayor. Item 4.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to waive the reading of items 4 and 5 and receive.
Second, Madam President.
The motion has been made and second to waive the readings on item number 4 and 5, and these items are going to be received. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 6, communication from His Honor the Mayor dated February 24th, 2021, informing the honorable members of the City Council that pursuant to sections 302B and 203 of the Providence Home Rule Charter of 1980 as amended, he is this day reappointing Jordan Seabury of 100 Canton Street, Providence, Rhode Island 02908 to the Board of Canvassers for a term to expire on the first Monday in March 2027 and respectfully submits the same for your approval.
Refer to the Committee on Finance.
Appointment by City Council President. Item 7, communication from Council President Matos dated February 26, 2021, informing the city clerk of her appointments of the following council members to the Special Commission on Municipal Operations and Oversight. Councilwoman Joanne Ryan, Councilman Nicholas J. Narducci Jr., Councilman Pedro J. Espinal, Councilman John Goncalves, Councilwoman Carmen Castillo.
Receive.
Ordinance second reading. The following ordinance was in City Council February 18, 2021, read and passed the first time and is returned for passage a second time. Item 8, an ordinance amending Article 8, Motor Vehicle Repair Business of Chapter 14, Licenses of the Providence Code of Ordinances.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
pass item 8 for the second time on a roll call vote.
Second, Madam President.
Okay, the motion has been made and second to pass item number 8 for the second time on a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Matos.
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo. Councilwoman Castillo.
Aye.
Councilman Correa is absent. Councilman Espinal.
Aye.
Councilman Goncalves.
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris.
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi.
Aye.
Councilor Kerwin.
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune.
Aye.
Councilor Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Narducci is absent. Councilwoman Ryan.
Aye.
Councilor Salvatore is absent. Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
You have 12 ayes, 3 absent. The matter passes for the second time on a roll call vote. Presentation of ordinance. Item 9. Councilor Kerwin, Council President Matos, Councilwoman Anthony, Councilman Espinal, Gonzalez, Councilwoman Harris, Councilor Miller, and Councilwoman Ryan. An ordinance and amendment of Chapter 8, Courts, Article 2, Housing Court of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence by amending Sections 8 through 14, Section 8-14, Powers of Housing Court, to limit jurisdiction of the Housing Court.
Madam President. Madam President,
Leader Ryan, sorry, was muted.
thank you. I'd like to make a motion to pass on item 9 for the first time and refer to the Committee on Ordinances.
Second,
the-
Madam President.
The motion has
On-
been
On a
second
roll call vote, Madam. Thank you.
to pass item number 9 for the first time. I refer to the Committee on Ordinance, and I have discussion, Councilwoman LaFortune.
If the sponsors do not oppose, I would like to add my name as a co-sponsor to it as well. Thank you.
Sure. Councilwoman LaFortune is a co-sponsor.
So noted.
Any other discussion?
Madam President, I have a
Um,
question.
Yes, Chairman Igliozzi.
Just for my edification, could the lead sponsor, the sponsors just explain what's the end, what's the purpose, what's the change? I'm just curious, like, what are we doing?
Sure.
What are we doing to the housing code? Can someone just explain that a little bit to me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So basically, this is a small change that would, in practice, just prevent groups and nonprofits that don't always have the community's best interests at heart from being able to force homes into receivership that are being occupied by people that live there or want to live there. So it just makes it, like if there is a house that really is an issue with the city because it's a blighted property, it's kind of like a nuisance in the neighborhood, there's still a method for the city to kind of seek recourse and make sure that, that house can get properly taken care of. But this just prevents people from petitioning to take homes away from people that live in them.
Thank you. That was a great explanation. That sounds great. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Councilman Curran. Thank you.
So the motion has been made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Opposed?
This
Oh,
was for a roll call vote.
that's
I
roll
think I
call.
asked for a roll
Sorry.
call. Sorry.
Yes, you're right. Sorry, it's a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Council President Matos,
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony,
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo,
Aye.
Councilman Correa is absent, Councilman Espinal,
Aye.
Councilman Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris,
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi,
Aye.
Councilor Kerwin,
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune,
Aye.
Councilor Miller,
Aye.
Councilman Narducci is absent, Councilwoman Ryan,
Aye.
Councilor Salvatore is absent, Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
You have 12 ayes and 3 absent. The matter passes for the first time on a roll call vote and has been referred to the Committee on Ordinances. Presentation of resolutions. Item 10, Council President Mato.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to waive the reading of items 10 through 14 and refer to the Committee on Finance.
Second, Madam President.
The motion has been made and second to waive the readings of items 10 through 14, and these items are going to be referred to the Committee on Finance. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 15, Councilman Gonzalez, Councilwoman Castillo, Councilman Espinal, Councilwoman Harris, Councilor Miller, Councilman Narducci, and Taylor. Resolution honoring the life and legacy of Johnny Brito.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to pass item 15 on a voice vote, and I'd like to ask the clerk to read the entire resolution into the record.
Second, Madam President.
The motion has been made and second to pass item number 15 on a voice vote and asking the clerk to read the entire resolution. And I'm going to check with some council members that have raised their hands. Councilwoman LaFortune.
If the lead sponsor doesn't mind, I would like to be added as a co-sponsor as well. Thank you.
Councilwoman LaFortune, co-sponsor. Leader Ryan, co-sponsor.
Please.
Okay. I have Councilman Goncalves next.
If I may, I am going to reserve my remarks until after the clerk.
Perfect.
reads the resolution.
Thank you. So Councilman Igliozzi. Chairman Igliozzi, do you want to co-sponsor?
Yes, Madam President. If there's no objection, I'd like to
Yeah.
co-sponsor, please. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to co-sponsor also. And anybody else?
Well, sorry, thank you.
Councilor Kerwin wants to co-sponsor also.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that, Mr. Clerk, could you please read the resolution and Councilman Goncalves will speak after.
Gladly. Whereas Johnny Brito, 87 of Schofield Street, Fox Point, passed away on Monday, January 25th, 2021. And whereas John V. Brito was a son of the late Joao and Rufina Silva Brito. And whereas as a lifelong resident of the Fox Point neighborhood, Johnny Brito was not just a devoted husband, father, and grandfather, but he was a fixture in the community and inspiration. And whereas Johnny Brito served as a longshoreman for many years, was an Army veteran of the Korean War, played short-term for the Harlem Globetrotters and the New York Yankees farm team. And whereas Johnny Brito served the Fox Point community for over 60 years as a coach, friend, and mentor to kids of all ages via his role as the athletic director of the Fox Point Boys and Girls Club on Wickenden Street, which is known as the oldest continually operating Boys and Girls Club in the United States, celebrating over 150 years of operation. And whereas Mr. Brito was a friend and huge fan of Frank Sinatra, had a distinctive whistle, loved Necco wafers, pool, and billiards, and could sink a full-court hook shot repeatedly. And whereas in the early 1990s, the Gano Street neighborhood basketball courts were named in his honor, and he received numerous awards, including Community Hero, Jefferson Award, Basketball Hall of Fame, Mr. Boys and Girls Club, Urban League, and the Key to Success. And whereas upon and prior to his retirement in 2017, Mr. Brito was additionally recognized by countless city officials and was duly awarded the Outstanding Citizenship Hero Award by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Rhode Island and American Cross Rhode Island in recognition of his giving spirit and selfless service to the city of Providence. And whereas Johnny was married to the late Eufema Fama Brito of Schofield Street for 47 years, and whereas Mr. Brito spent a lifetime leading by example for the youth of the Fox Point neighborhood, and whereas Mr. Brito impacted thousands of families in the city of Providence and truly enjoyed fostering deep connections and serving their neighborhood through his cheerful disposition and charming personalities. And whereas through his kindness, work ethic, unquestioned integrity, and unwavering commitment to the young men and women of Providence, Mr. Brito has helped to inspire the city's youth, revitalize the city's neighborhoods, and strengthened the community of Fox Point and the entire city of Providence. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Providence does hereby honor the life, work, and legacy of Johnny Brito. Be it further resolved that upon passage, copies of this resolution be sent to relatives of the Brito family, including the 5 children he had with his wife, John Brito, Anthony Brito, and his wife, Stacy, Donna Silva, and her husband, Francis, Karen Brito, Robert Brito, and his wife, Danielle, and his 4 additional children, Beth Thomas, Rodney Perry, Taylor Brito, Mindy Brito, and his 10 beloved grandchildren.
Thank you. Councilman Goncalves.
Madam Chair, thank you for the opportunity to speak about the life and the legacy of Johnny Brito. For those of you who knew Johnny, Johnny was a community giant, a giant among men and women, a giant in the Fox Point community, a giant in the city of Providence. As the clerk read, Johnny touched so many lives in our community. His impact was immeasurable. It's hard not to get emotional when sharing this, but there will never be another Johnny. Mr. Brito was a fixture at the Fox Point Boys and Girls Club, where he served as athletic director, as the clerk mentioned, for more than 60 years. But that doesn't begin to explain his commitment and his passion to the community, as well as his impact and his service. Whether it was his hook shot or his refereeing of capture the flag, or his whistle, or sharing his wise words of wisdom, or being a tireless champion, an advocate for the community, Johnny's impact on the lives of thousands of Providence youth will live on forever. Last year, this body voted in favor of a resolution to provide an honorary designation to Johnny Brito and Fox Point. And for that, I'm forever grateful. And the Brito family is forever grateful. While Johnny was alive when that happened and will no longer be with us to see that day come to fruition, I hope that when COVID subsides, you all will celebrate his life and legacy with us in the neighborhood. His loss leaves a huge hole in the heart of the community, and my deepest and most sincerest condolences go out to the entire Brito family, and may he rest in peace. Johnny, we will never forget you. And if I may, I'd love to request a brief moment of silence to honor the life and legacy of Johnny Brito. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. Motion has been made on second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 16.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to waive the reading of items 16 through 27 and refer to the Special Committee on State Legislative Affairs.
Is there a second?
Oh, second.
Okay. The motion has been made a second to waive the readings of items 16 through 27, and these items are going to be referred to the committee on this, a special committee on the state legislative affairs. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Item 28. Councilwoman Harris, Council President Matos, Councilwoman Anthony, Castillo, Councilman Espinal, Gonzalez, and Councilor Miller, Councilwoman Ryan. Resolution recognizing Monday, March 8, 2021 as International Women's Day and establishing the Anijah Strong, the Shero Within Award.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to pass item 28 on a voice vote and to ask the clerk to read the entire resolution into the record.
Second, Madam President.
The motion has been made and second to pass item number 28 on a voice vote and to ask the clerk to read the resolution. I see I have some discussions coming up. Sorry, Councilwoman LaFortune.
Just to be added as a co-sponsor to the resolution. Thank you.
Sure. Chairman Iglesias.
Yes, Madam President, if there's no objection, I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor also. Thank you.
Co-sponsor. Thank you. All right. Councilman Taylor.
I'd also like to be added. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Taylor. All right. Just checking for co-sponsors first. Any other co-sponsor?
Councilwoman Kerwin, thank you.
Councilor Kerwin would like to be a co-sponsor also. Then I have Deputy Majority Leader Harris. Do you want to speak now or after they read it?
Wait until after the resolution
is read. Okay. All right. Mr. Clerk, please read the resolution.
Whereas International Women's Day is celebrated globally every year on 8th, and whereas the Providence City Council recognizes the unique contributions that women of all ages, races, religions, and stations are making to the city of Providence, their local communities, families, and careers. And whereas the Providence City Council recognizes that the empowerment of women and girls is inextricably linked to the potential of our city to generate A, economic growth, B, sustainable democracy, and C, inclusive security. And whereas the Providence City Council recognizes the barriers women and girls continue facing in the struggle for equal rights, economic participation, and productivity, and are underrepresented in the labor force. And whereas despite the achievements of individual female leaders, women remain vastly underrepresented in high-level positions across various sectors of the global economy. And whereas the Providence City Council remains committed to empowering all women and girls and is proud of its history making female majority. And whereas every year the women of the City Council come together to create an International Women's Day celebration and to honor an inspiring woman in the city of Providence. And whereas on November 18th, 2020, 14-year-old Anijah Sanaa Griffin of Providence passed away after a long, courageous battle with cancer. And whereas through her illness, Anijah amazed and inspired her parents, family, friends, and teachers with her enduring commitment to her education, her unwavering spirit and humor, and her mischievous and ever-so-present smirk and twinkle in her eyes. And whereas with a love for donuts, reading, baking, The Simpsons, and Paris, Anijah's sparkling personality shone bright through the many trials of childhood illness. And whereas as a loving daughter, protective little sister, and amazing friend, Anijah touched the lives of all who knew her. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Providence City Council recognizes Monday, March 8th, 2021 as International Women's Day in celebration of the diverse tapestry of women and girls who enrich the city of Providence. Be it further resolved, the Providence City Council reaffirms its commitment to encouraging social, political, and economic equality, as well as to ensure the safety and welfare and to pursue the policies that guarantee the basic human rights of women and girls. Be it further resolved that the Providence City Council renames its annual International Women's Day Award to the Anijah Strong, the Shero Within Award, in honor of the life and memory of Anijah Sanaa Griffin.
Deputy Majority Leader Harris.
Yes, thank you. And I want to thank all my distinguished colleagues for just really embracing this. I have to say that this is a really opportunity for us as women to really have a chance to really embrace our, as I call it, the tides of history. We're moving towards the tides of history right now. And I really want to say that I want to thank all of our allies, which are men. And the reason they appreciate us because they have mothers and they have sisters and some of them have even daughters. So we know why you appreciate us. And we're inviting you, the majority of the ladies here are inviting you on Monday to join us as usual, because you always support us. But Anijah, let's talk about Anijah and why this is so important. Last year, Councilwoman LaFortune gave us one of the most beautiful events that you could ever imagine. And out of that came a surprise. There was a award that was named after me, which I was caught by surprise. And I'm like, wow, I don't deserve this award. But she also asked us to challenge ourselves by looking at sheroes in our lives, people who have influenced us, people who have been close to us. And you know, I could easily say it's my mother because I done grown into my mother, so I could easily say that. But I met a young lady when I started doing the Black History Month, and she was from community prep. And it was funny because she stood out among the crowd because she asked questions and she was following Caleb around. You know, Caleb had just started the project of doing the exhibits. And he took a long time to go around the wall, right? But these kids followed him and she was like just asking questions, really engaged. The next year, she wasn't able to make it because she was battling sickness and a struggle. And with that time, during that period of time, I started to wear her skirt, which her family gave to me, to the International Women's Day, not knowing that I was going to get this award. And Councilwoman LaFortune had arranged for us to talk about our sheroes. She was my shero because I watched her, you know, not only participate in the happiness, but I want to share one thing with you. What was so magical about that night that award was given to me. For some reason, I didn't feel like I deserved that award, first of all, you know. But when I called her up as a shero, and I just looked at her as I was making up things as I was talking to accepting the award from all my women colleagues who were gathered around me in a picture photo. You've seen us, right? We look good, right? We were celebrating ourselves. And as I was talking and I looked at her, there was a smile on her face that when I heard that she had left us, that's all I could see in my head was that smile. So things don't happen by coincidence. Although that award was handed to me, thank you, Council, for renaming that award after somebody who really, really deserved it. A 14-year-old who have given things back to life just by who she was as a person, the impact she made on not only my life, I heard she went many people's lives. So thank you as we celebrate this. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Didn't mean to speak so long, but I'm happy and I'm emotional at the same time. And I can say this is the best we could do, creating a real shero award that will forever live in the council, and women in the council will continue to pass it on. Thank you all. And we want to thank Councilwoman Castillo for leading us this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And I just want to thank you. I just want to, in front of everyone, it's the time to recognize the hard work that you have been doing. So I want to take this opportunity when we're going to be celebrating International Women's Day and the month to say thank you for the so many hours of work that you've been putting into the City Council. You have been working so hard every day. I think you have more meetings than anybody else. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for all the work. And thank you for recognizing Anaja and sharing this beautiful story with all of us. I want to thank Councilwoman Castillo also for taking the lead on the International Women's Day celebration. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there. Okay, with that, the motion has been made. Sorry, I have a hand. Councilwoman LaFortune.
I just want to say thank you so much, Councilwoman Harris. That was beautiful. And thank you for all your hard work. I also want to just for us to, you know, acknowledge the other women within the council office and all our clerks and Anaja's grandmother, Angela Harris. You know, as you were talking, I was looking at her and I still remember when she told me about Anaja, she had told me she loved Paris, and I had gone to Paris and I was telling her about, you know, the places to visit. I just want to thank you for sharing yourself with us, and through these times, which I cannot even articulate what your family is going through, that you're always present. You show us so much grace. And you always look so lovely. So I thank you. And it's a reminder of the strength of women and the impact women have. So thank you to all of you. And, you know, as women, it's important for us to continue to learn lessons from each other, and to continue to support and advocate for one another. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to Councilwoman Castillo for taking it on this year, and just the work that every single one of you do in the community, in your families, and inspiring all of us. So thank you.
Thank you. So motion has been made on second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 29, Councilor Miller, Councilwoman Castillo, Councilman Espinal, Gonzalez, Councilwoman Harris, Councilor Kerwin, and Councilman Taylor. Resolution honoring the life and legacy of Robert J. DeUva.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to pass item 29 on a voice vote, and also ask the clerk to read the entire resolution into the record.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made on second to pass item number 29 on a voice vote, and to ask the clerk to read the resolution. I do have some council members that have raised their hands. Chairman Iglesias.
Madam President, if there's no objection from the sponsors, I would like to co-sponsor, please.
Chairman Iglesias would like to co-sponsor. Councilwoman LaFortune.
Yes, so would I. Thank you so much if there's an objection.
Councilwoman LaFortune, co-sponsor. Leader Ryan.
Same thing, if there's no objection from the sponsor.
Leader Ryan would like to co-sponsor. I would like to co-sponsor also. Any other discussion before we go to reading the resolution? Councilor Miller.
Thank you, Madam President. I can wait until after the resolution. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. With that, Mr. Clerk, can you please read this resolution?
Gladly. Whereas Robert J. DeUva passed away on February 18th, 2021, after decades of service to the state of Rhode Island and to our city's Italian-American community. And whereas Bob was born on June 22nd, 1958, and lived with his family on Webster Avenue in Providence. And whereas after his family moved to Johnson, Bob attended Johnson Public Schools and later graduated from Roger Williams College with an associate degree in business administration and a bachelor's degree in American political science. And whereas Bob launched his career in media with the Patuxent Valley Daily Times and subsequently served in roles at WBRU Radio, WHJJ, and WHJY Radio, before returning to the Patuxent Valley Daily Times, where he became a visible and vital member of the Patuxent Valley community. And whereas Bob served 2 terms as the president of the Patuxent Valley Chamber of Commerce, and whereas Bob's service to the Italo-American organization Logia Piave number 364 earned him their 2007 Merit Award. And whereas Bob served as the director of the Da Vinci Center for Community Progress on Charles Street in Providence. And whereas in 2012, Bob founded the Rhode Island Echo, a newspaper to capture the spirit and positive aspects of the state of Rhode Island. And whereas the Rhode Island Echo will publish its 100th edition April 21st, 2021, and its success is a testament to Bob's spirit, tenacity, and ability to see the best in people and in our community. And whereas Bob was a longtime president of the Federal Hill Commerce Association and an energetic and unfailing advocate for local businesses and restaurants. And whereas Bob was deeply proud of his Italian heritage and was devoted to his family. And whereas Bob is predeceased by his wife Susie and survived by his brother Anthony Jr., his daughter Charlotte of Colorado, his daughter Elizabeth, her husband Andrew Chonier, and their children Stella and Leo, and his longtime girlfriend Yiddy Tar of Cranston. And whereas Bob will be deeply missed in our community and especially on Federal Hill. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Providence does hereby honor the legacy and memory of Robert J. DeUva. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Providence extends its deepest condolences to the entire DeUva family, as well as Bob's extended family and friends on Federal Hill and beyond.
Thank you. Councilor Miller.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Clerk, for reading that. I just want to take a moment to extend my thanks to all of my colleagues for joining in sharing our sympathy with Bob Dupla's family and his extended network of family and friends on Federal Hill. Over the last couple of years, as I've gotten to know and to work with Bob, I am constantly, was constantly amazed by his like generosity of spirit, his willingness to be a fierce advocate for everyone on the Hill, and most uniquely, his ability to like see the good in just about any situation. And that is something that is sorely, sorely needed. So I know his loss is deeply felt by his family and by our community. So thank you all for joining me in extending sympathy.
Thank you. The motion has been made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 30, Councilor Miller, Councilwoman Castillo, Councilman Gonzalez, and Councilor Kerwin. Resolution endorsing and urging passage by the General Assembly of House Bill 2021 H-5227, an act relating to taxation, personal income tax.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan,
motion to refer item 30 to the Special Committee on State Legislative Affairs.
Second, Madam President.
motion has been made and second to refer the item number 30 to the Special Committee on State Legislative Affairs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Item 31,
Madam President,
Leader Ryan,
motion to waive the reading of items 31 through 34 and to pass on a voice vote.
Second, Madam President.
motion has been made and second to waive the readings of item number 31 through 34, and these items are going to be passed on a voice vote. I see discussion. I have Councilwoman Miller. Councilor Miller?
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I'd like to co-sponsor item 34 if there's no objection, and speak briefly on the other items. So items 31 and 32 are both related to protecting our waterways and food products from a class of chemicals that are known as perfluoroalkyl substances. So you might remember this chemistry lesson from 2 years ago. I'm going to be really quick. These are a class of chemicals that are made up of carbon chains, like so different carbons. And on every place that you can connect what's a fluorine atom, a fluorine is connected. That carbon-fluorine bond is extremely strong. So what that means is that these chemicals, once they enter the environment, they stick around for a really long time. And they're also like sticky because of their nature. They started manufacturing in like 1948 as a commercial product, as an industrial product. It's the most commonly known as Teflon, but it's in so many things. So we've got a House bill and a Senate companion that deals with their use in food packaging. Because of this repellent property that they have, they're often used to repel grease. And so item 31 is sponsoring the House and Senate bill to ban their use in food packaging in Rhode Island, to ban the distribution and the sale. And then item 32 is asking the Department of Health and the DEM together to monitor, trace, set safe levels for this class of chemicals in our drinking water and in our waterways and groundwater. And so throughout New England over the last decade or so, we've seen a lot of research on this class of chemicals and a lot, unfortunately, of contaminated groundwater, contaminated drinking supply. And in Rhode Island, we really need to know what's in our water. We need to make sure we're taking care of and protecting one another. So I ask all of my fellow colleagues to join me on 31 and 32. And item 33 is in support of the Equality Act, which recently passed the US House of Representatives and is in the Senate. So right now in 27 states across the country, it is perfectly legal for me to be denied employment, to lose my job, to lose housing, simply based on who I love. And that's true for folks in states across the country. The very first political campaign I participated in was actually not for a candidate. It was for in Miami-Dade County when people were trying to withdraw the rights of, they were trying to make it legal because countywide, Miami-Dade had passed something that protected the rights of LGBTQ community members. And so there was something on the ballot to withdraw those rights. And so I got to spend a whole month door knocking in Miami-Dade County back in 2002. And just going door to door and talking about, as a member of the LGBTQ community, talking to people throughout the city about that experience and why it was so important to protect against discrimination. We shouldn't have I think we all know, right? We shouldn't have a patchwork of legislation across the country. We should enshrine protections for the LGBTQ community in law. And so I'm asking your support on that measure as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Mr. Clerk, I would like to co-sponsor on 31 through 34 also. And I have other councilors waiting. I have Leader Ryan.
If there's no objection from the sponsor, I would like to make the same request, please.
Leader Ryan, co-sponsor 31 to 34. Next, I have Councilman Goncalves next.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank the sponsor for putting these forth. As Councilor Miller expressed, PFAS don't easily break down. They persist in your body and they're super troubling to the environment. So I appreciate her putting that measure forth. And then the Equality Act, as we know, that's going to prohibit discrimination based on sex and sexual orientation and gender identity. And I hope that this council will be supportive of those measures at the federal level. So thank you very much.
Thanks. I had Chairman Igliosi.
Thank you, Madam President. If there's no objection, I'd like to co-sponsor all those items. And also, I actually want to thank Councilwoman Miller for her personal story and the trials and tribulations she was talking about. And I think it's very poignant, and I think it's wonderful that when you come to the Providence Council, people can express themselves, their concerns, their point of views, and not be judged by these types of, let's call it some of these types of folks that out there who like to judge people based on their sex, their race, their color of skin, and all those things. So I mean, I want to thank her for that. She's absolutely right. So if there's no objection, I'd like to co-sponsor all of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Chairman. I'm trying to take co-sponsors first, and then I'm going to go to comment. So Councilman Taylor.
I'd like to also co-sponsor them, please. Thank you.
Deputy Majority Leader Harris, do you want to co-sponsor?
I want to co-sponsor all three, and thank you. Like Chairman said, thank you for your story, Councilwoman Miller. Thank you.
Thank you. I have, let me check. Councilman Espinal, do you want to co-sponsor or you want to speak? Because if not, I'm going to go to Councilwoman LaFortune first.
I'd like to co-sponsor.
Co-sponsor. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Espinal, co-sponsor. Councilwoman LaFortune.
Thank you. If the sponsor does not object, I would also like to co-sponsor, and also note that during that time I was living in Miami. So thank you for all your work and efforts, and also mention Audre Lorde's quote, I am deliberate and afraid of nothing. So being deliberate about the mission and creating equality and being unafraid is what affects change. So thank you.
Thanks. I do have still Council Deputy Majority Leader Harris. Do you want to speak? No? Okay. All right. So I believe we have all the discussions or the comments. So the motion has been made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 The ayes have it.
Reports from committees.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to waive the reading of items 35 through 41, pass on a voice vote, and refer back to the Board of Contract and Supply.
Second, Madam President.
The motion has been made and second to waive the readings of the items 35 through 41 And these items are going to be passed on a voice vote, and they're going to be referred back to the Board of Contracts and Supply. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nay?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Committee on Ordinances, Councilwoman.
Madam
Joanne-
President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to waive the reading of items 42 through 45, pass for the first time on a roll call vote.
Second, Madam President.
The motion has been made and second to waive the readings on items number 42 through 45. And these items are going to be passed for the first time on a roll call vote. I do have some discussions. I see some hands raised. So I'm going to go with Councilwoman Anthony.
Thank you so much, Council President. I'd like to speak against item 42, which is the illumination standards. This amendment would permit conversion of static billboards in the manufacturing and industrial zones to be converted to electronic messages under certain circumstances. Those certain circumstances are special permit, but it still will allow another board, presumably the zoning board, to allow these conversions from static boards to electronic messages. This is something I think that is disastrous for this city. We have a beautiful city. We have a number of billboards. A number of them are in these zones. And I just don't think that we should be allowing any of them to be converted to electronic billboards. It takes away from the historic nature of the city. It's distracting. It possibly proposes safety concerns. And I just think this is something that we don't need in this city. This is a beautiful, beautiful city. And I just would urge my fellow council people to vote against this item. Thank you.
Councilman Goncalves.
Madam Chair, thank you, Councilwoman Anthony, for your remarks. I completely agree. And thank you for allowing me to speak on this matter. But I'm going to be very frank. You know, this electronic billboard ordinance amendment is a bad amendment for the city of Providence. I understand wholeheartedly my colleagues who want to get rid of billboard blight in their neighborhoods, and I hope we're all supportive of that. But there's a clause here that says at least the equivalent square footage or weekly impressions is either square footage or weekly impressions based on removals may be preferred. That is very broad. It's very unclear. This ordinance doesn't define impressions. And in fact, Scenic America provided robust research studies and evidence, and they're as clear as day. It takes away from the historic nature, as Councilwoman Anthony had mentioned. There are countless studies that indicate that digital billboards attract and hold the gazes of drivers for far longer than conventional billboards. And simply put, they're not safe or good for ecological health. And we cannot in good faith allow an advertising company to take precedent over our residents and constituents. If they have a vested interest in getting rid of billboards, then, you know, the petitioner should, and I'm sure we would very much welcome that. But the trade-off here to get rid of conventional billboards in exchange for digital billboard impressions, that's not a good trade-off. And there's more than a dozen cities, in fact, around the nation that have banned digital billboards. And put simply, digital billboards are a distraction. I realize I may be in the minority here in my positioning, but I hope that some of us would be willing to heed the advice of Scenic America, these research studies, and most importantly, our constituents who want us to vote on this issue on the merits of safety in our neighborhoods. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Chairman Iglesias.
Madam President, I'll wait till the end. I'll defer, let's tell to speak at this time.
Okay, so I don't have any other requests for discussion at this moment.
Okay, well then I just want, for the record, I'm going to recuse myself on this matter. Mr. Clerk, please.
Okay.
Thank you. So duly note that for me. Thank you.
All right, so Chairman Iglesias is going to recuse on item number 42. Leader Ryan.
Thank you, Madam President. As the chair of the ordinance committee, this matter was heard before our committee At the request of the sponsor, we continued it a number of times. And I recognize my colleagues' opposition to this. And I just want to be clear, and I want to make sure that my colleagues understand what they are voting on. So this ordinance doesn't create new billboard locations. And there's actually, per the testimony, there's only 2 locations in the city that can become digital, limited to the industrial zones facing the highway. RIDOT has signed off on these locations. That land is within their purview to do so. The administration has negotiated with the vendor over many years. And what came out of this was the removal of a number of neighborhood boards that are old, that detract from the beauty, the quality of life in our neighborhoods. And more importantly, what resonated with me is the removal of those boards on those properties or lots in our neighborhoods makes those lots available to be developed and hopefully create affordable homes. So removing the boards from the neighborhoods is a priority. This isn't a far reach. It is very limited and very restrictive. And in fact, we would only allow the illuminated boards to appear, again, in these very limited locations. And in order for anyone to move forward and actually install an illuminated board, they would have to obtain a special use permit. So there's more hoops and hurdles that need to go, that anyone would have to go through. Neighbors would be notified, et cetera, as we know the process would ensue. I do think that there's value in removing the boards in the neighborhoods. I think that's a big plus, and I want to commend the administration for working diligently. The planning department actually brought this forth to us. I didn't like it at first for many of the reasons that my colleagues have stated, but after looking at it, I recognize that it is a carve out and it is limited. And we already do have illuminated board in the city of Providence. So that's just some background I wanted to provide from my colleagues. And I also want to recognize my colleagues who worked very diligently with the vendor over the many months that it has been in committee. And just to remind my colleagues as well and the general public that when things are in committee, it doesn't mean they're sitting on a shelf collecting dust. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes so that counselors can understand, if they take the time to do the research and understand the nuances, work with the solicitor's office, engage our director of policy and other colleagues to really truly understand what it is we're voting on and the implications it will have for policy going forward. So that's my spiel. Sorry I took so much time, but I do think it's important. This matter is has been around for a long time. Thank you, Madam President. And thank you, my colleagues.
I just want to check. I know that Councilman Espinal has his hand raised. Councilman Espinal.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be brief since the sentiment and expressions of Councilwoman Collins and John Goncalves. I'm going to be supporting their interpretation of what has been presented and debated. I also share their same concerns, so I will also be supporting them and voting no against this measure. Thank you.
Councilwoman LaFortune.
Thank you, Council President. And thank you, Councilwoman Anthony and Councilman Gonzalez. I too will be supporting them and voting no on this ordinance. And I do hear the majority leaders, words that it took some time. It went through the ordinance and they vetted it extensively. But I do think that we do not have to pass this ordinance in order to create more affordable housing. We can still remove old billboards to do so without having to pass this. There are significant safety concerns, as Councilman Gonzalez expressed. There are studies that have shown that. So unfortunately, I too cannot support, and I will vote in opposite. I will vote, excuse me, against it. Thank you.
Okay, so we have end of the discussion. Mr. Clark.
Madam President.
Oh, Leader Ryan, sorry, I didn't see your hands raised.
I'm sorry to speak twice on an item. I would just like to correct on the comment made by my colleague, Councilwoman LaFortune. I didn't say that we needed to allow boards to create affordable housing. That was not what I said. And if that's what you understood, I didn't intend to say that. I wouldn't say that. Thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Councilwoman Anthony, and just a reminder, I have everybody speaking for the second time. Councilwoman Anthony.
I'm just asking Council President if we can vote for these items separately, since we're voting differently on some of them, unless you want us to each say what we're voting in favor of and what we're voting against.
Yes, can we just, if we already have the motion on the floor, can we just do it like this? I'm myself gonna be having to recuse from an item, so let's just do it one by one so we don't have to take the motion back. Okay. I have then Councilman Goncalves.
Thank you. And I apologize for speaking again on this matter. And thank you, Majority Leader Ryan. You know, we appreciate your due diligence in vetting this matter. There was no question that there was a lot of work that went into this. And I was on all of those meetings. Some of my council colleagues were as well. And I understand all the points that you're making, but I would, you know, even go a step further and respectfully ask that perhaps we make a motion to continue this matter once again, so it could be further vetted in committee, specifically on impressions. I think it's important to define that, and this is a safety issue, and we appreciate your concern about neighborhood blight in our neighborhoods.
We have a motion right now on the floor, so I just want to check back with the sponsor of item number 42, Leader Ryan. What is
Madam President, thank you, Councilman Goncalves. It does appear that there's some confusion on this matter. I'd like to withdraw my motion on bundling items 42 through 45, if I may. Ask my second to do the same thing.
I take back my second.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to send item 42 back to committee. There seems to be some discussion, some concerns this evening that I have not been able to address in committee, and I would like the opportunity to do that. So with that, I'd like to send 42 back to committee for further review and vetting.
Second, Madam President.
So the motion has been made on second to send item number 42 back to committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Madam President, I recuse.
Yeah, Councilman Iglesias, Chairman Iglesias is recusing from item number 42.
Noted.
Leader Ryan, your hands are still raised. Are you?
Sorry.
You're just checking, doing a final check. All right. Mr. Clerk, also, Leader Ryan, can I have another motion?
Yes, Madam. Did we vote on 42? We did, correct?
42
We're
was
on
back to committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's. I'd like to make another motion, Council President, to waive the reading of 43 through 45 and to pass for the first time on a roll call vote.
Second.
Motion has been made on second to waive the readings of item number 43 through 45. And this is going to be passed for the first time on a roll call vote. I see Councilor Anthony. Sorry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Anthony, do you have your hands up? Okay.
I'm sorry, it's a roll call vote, correct?
Okay, it's a roll call vote.
Okay.
Yes, a roll call vote.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Matos,
All the items but 44, I'm going to abstain on item number 44.
Noted. Councilwoman Anthony.
Yes, I am also going to say yes, except abstain on 44.
Councilwoman Castillo.
Yes, but I abstain on item 44.
Councilman Correa is absent. Councilman Espinal.
Aye.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris.
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi.
Aye.
Councilor Kerwin.
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune.
Aye.
Councilor Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Narducci is absent. Councilwoman Ryan.
Need to abstain from item 44 and aye on all else.
Councilor Salvatore is absent. Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
You have 12 ayes and 3 absent on items 43 and 45. You have 8 ayes, 4 abstentions, and 3 absent on item 44. The several matters passed for the first time on a roll call vote.
Thank you.
From the clerk's desk, item 46, petition from John J. Garrahy, John J. Garrahy Law LLC, 2088 Broad Street, Cranston, Rhode Island, 02905, requesting a zone change for the property located on Assessor's Plat 101, Lot 793, 845 Allens Avenue, from C1 to M1.
Refer to the Committee on Ordinance.
Item 47, petitions for compensation for injuries and damages.
Severally refer to the Committee on Claims and Pending Suit.
Communications and reports. Item 48.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to waive the reading of items 48 through 51 and receive.
Second.
Motion has been made and second to waive the readings on item number 48 to 51, and these items are going to be received. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Madam President,
Councilor Kerwin,
may I make a point of personal privilege?
continue.
I was just going to ask if we could, when we convene if we could just take a moment of silence for Frank Latore. He passed away this week, and he was a really incredible community member who was super passionate about keeping art and culture alive and well in the city. And I just wanted to remember him tonight.
Thank you, Councilor. Mr. Clerk. Sorry, I have another hands raised. Councilman Goncalves.
Madam Chair, I would just simply like to second that. Frank Latore was, as you know, the executive director of the Downtown Improvement District, and he was a true champion for downtown, and we're grateful for his advocacy in the city.
Thank you, Councilman. Leader Ryan is ready to adjourn on memory of Frank Latore, and we're going to be introducing a resolution for our next meeting also. Welcome all of you to be part of that resolution because he deserves it. Mr. Clerk.
Presentation of resolutions and congratulations. Item 52, Council President Matos and members of the City Council, resolution extending congratulations.
Madam President.
Yep.
Motion to pass item 52 on a voice vote.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made and second to pass item number 52 on a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Presentation of resolutions in memoriam. Item 53, Council President Matos and members of the City Council, resolution extending sympathy.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan,
Motion to pass item 53 on a unanimous rising vote.
the second.
Second.
Motion has been made and second to pass item number 53 on a unanimous rising vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan,
at the request of the council president, we are adjourning this night's meeting in memory of our dear friend, Frank Latore. Unfortunately, he passed away this week, and we missed docket deadline. But I think each and every one of us is well aware of his service to the city of Providence. And I've been reading a lot about postings from the media that have dubbed him the champion of Providence. And I think we all know that. We have all worked very closely with him, and he has touched us most definitely. And the council president did indicate that we will have a full resolution at the next council meeting, and we hope to ask each and every one of you to join in co-sponsoring that. But on behalf of the entire city council, I offer our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Frank Latore.
Seconded, Madam President.
thank you. The motion has been made and second for us to adjourn to memory of Frank Latore. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You be well and be safe.